Yes.
So as you know, the war is going on, the Kurukshetra,
Yes.
Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra is fully,
Really heartbreaking.
don't know, it's so painful to see, especially when you're from those regions, you know.
Yes. Yes.
But what to do? Well, yeah, life is like this. But it helped many people to become better. People didn't know that they have these qualities. You know, war is the moment of truth. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you have to step out of your comfort zone and
Mm-hmm.
see what you're made of. Those
Right.
who were not made of good stuff, they also revealed it, and those who even didn't know that they had it. Like, for example, this Zelensky, who was so criticized, the clown from the from the show, turned to be a very, very tough cookie.
Very
Yeah.
inspiring. Yeah.
And those generals and those great beings turned to be traitors and, nobodies. So it's quite interesting to see them, what the war does. And that's what that brings me to this idea. The war is the father of all things, as Heraclitus said. Sri Aurobindo quotes him in that way.
How is that way?
The war is the father of all things.
Oh.
Because in that moment, it's the moment of the truth. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what you have, you reveal.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm surprised to see that nobody is scared. Everybody has, calm faces, even happy faces.
Yeah.
It's really unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need once in a while a kind of shaking off all our comfort. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would not suggest that others have to go through this, but still. Okay, let us go to our Kurukshetra. Yeah? Maybe we will better understand now this Kurukshetra, what happens to Arjuna.
Yeah.
Okay, I will start with mantra. Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatam Vande Paramananda Madhavam. All right, I will then open the text. We were in the chapter 8 and we covered only first 4 shlokas, the whole philosophy. Okay, I will read them through without stopping at them and go further. Om Arjuna Uvacha Kim Tad Brahma Kim Adhyatmam Kim Karma Purushottamam Adhibhutam Chakim Proktam Adhidaivam Kim Uchyate Adhiyajnah Katham Kotra Dehesmin Madhusudanam Prayana Kale Cha Katham Jneyosi Niyatatmabih Shri Bhagavan Vacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavodhyatma Muchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhavat Karo Visargah Karma Sanjnitah Adhibhutam Ksharo Bhavah Purushashchaidhidaivatam Adhiyajnyo Hame Vatra Dehe Deha Bhritam Dehe Deha Bhritam Varam. So here we stopped. So there was the whole description of the whole universe with all the constituent parts in the philosophical terms. Now we are moving to the next. Antakale chamam smaran muktva kalevaram mam eva. Antakale chamam eva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati satad bhavam yati nastyatra samshayah. This shloka is quoted also very often by many different sadhus, babas, because it is considered to be that at the end of life, who remembers Krishna, leaving the body, he comes to my nature, and there is no doubt about it. I'm translating literally. I should open the another file, which is giving us the translation for you to dwell. Here it is. Whosoever leaves his body and departs remembering me at this time of end, antakale, comes to my bhava, that of the Purushottama, my status of being. There is no doubt about that. There is no doubt of that. So, but how far, what does it mean? Smaran, when he says smaran, remembering me at the end of departure. The one who remembers me at the end of departure comes to me, to my bhava. I always was, yeah, we discussed this already, yes? Yeah, I think so, yeah. Let us go further. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada bhava tad bhava bhava bhavitah, sorry, sada tad bhava bhavitah. Whatever bhava, whatever the state of consciousness or becoming one remembers, leaving the body at the end, tam tam eva iti, to that bhava indeed he comes, O Kaunteya, sada tad bhava bhavitah, supported by that very being or that very state of consciousness. The word bhava is a very vast word. Yeah? It has a sense of being, becoming, nature, support of being, also the sense of state of consciousness. In what state of consciousness one is, to that state he goes, supported by that state. Literally. Whosoever at the end abandons the body, thinking upon any form of being, that's how Sri Aurobindo takes it, to that form he attains, O Kaunteya, into which the soul was at each moment growing inwardly during the physical life. No, this is what he adds, and that's how he explains this. Yeah, so we are getting used to a particular way of being, and at the end of our life, we just go there. Okay, I'm going forward because we discussed so much about it already, about confessions in Christianity, that there is an idea that we will be kind of saved or liberated. So that's why we have confessions at the end. So the priest is coming to listen to all your sins, which you couldn't say to anyone before you leave the body. So leave here to me, and then go freely, so to say. And most probably it helps to a certain extent. Yeah? Even that little drop may help, because there is the truth of death again. Again, the moment of truth comes, and so you don't need to make it look good. For the first time maybe in your life you say the truth before leaving the body, because you couldn't do it otherwise to anyone, neither to your friends, nor to your enemies, nor to your children or spouse. You always presented it in some way or form which they may like. Even if it is a sinful thing, it has to be presented in favorable manner. And here you can say something which you, well, I do not know how it is. Truly speaking, do you have any idea what it may be? Because I can't even imagine what it would be differently from what I could have said to somebody else. Well, maybe for us it's a bit different because we are working on ourselves and digging always and cleansing and trying to figure out already all the moments and bring it to light always offer. So maybe for us it is really we are working out that state of being, and maybe it would be the same as we already did. I would be surprised to see that there's something hiding there which I didn't want to bring to light. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. This is beautiful. Mayi arpita mano buddhih, mayarpito mano buddhih, mam evashyasi asamshayah. So tasmat, and therefore, sarveshu kaleshu, in all the times, mam anusmara, remember me, yudhyacha, and fight. Mayi arpita mano buddhih, put onto me, into me, literally, your mind, your sense mind and your higher mind. Mam evaishyasi, and to me indeed you will come, asamshaya, with no doubt. Surely. So in all the times, remember me, whatever it is, and fight. Remember me and fight. This is the formula for Arjuna. Such a beautiful formula. Don't need to retreat. You don't need to run for your life. You just go forward, face all the difficulties, but remember constantly the divine and see what happens.
Hello, Vladimir, can I say something?
Yes, please. So, Siegfried, you're
Oh,
here. I didn't see you.
yes, thank you. Good night. I think this is applicable of anytime, anywhere, and anyone. It's not only for the last moment in our lives. I think it's another metaphor. It's not necessary to think about that in the last time, in the last moment, because every second could be the last. And then if we can do that, if we can identify ourselves where our mind is focused, because our mind is focused in what we are identifying ourselves, then we can be the Brahman in anytime, anywhere, anyone of us.
Yeah. I agree totally. Yes. Sometimes I have this state. Before I had it more often. Now it's not so often, in which you can really leave the body easily. Yeah, because everything you are in this presence, which is totally indifferent to staying or going, and there is no doubt about it. So in this state, I would love to leave my body, not to go it into the doubtful state or fearful or, or regretting something or having pain or being unconscious. All these things are not really good for leaving the body.
Yes, but I insist about is any time when we can experience to leave the body.
Yeah.
It's necessary to arrive to the moment when materialize is leaving the body. It's anytime we can achieve this realization of leaving the body in the present, in
Right.
the action where we are involved, leaving the body. as this kind of identification of with the Brahman. Now, right now, we can do right now.
Right.
Because every second something of us is dying, and some cells or whatever. I think it's a metaphor. It's not necessary to achieve the last moment, because if we are not allowed to do now, why we can do this in the last moment? Because nobody knows when is the last moment. Now is the last moment. Because dying and life and died is two sides of the same coin. It's continuous. This is the presence, dynamic, present, continuum.
There is something in with this leaving the body which is different from the normal, very favorable state without leaving the body. Kind of sitting and comfortably thinking about spiritual presence and having some glimpses of higher consciousness. It doesn't. So it kind of goes easy on you, and so living in this favorable moment, it would be easy. Kind of, yeah. If it would stay that way and everything will dissolve, this is no problem. But if the leaving the body comes closer, there is a moment of, how to say, decisive moment of the soul viewing its incarnation, its task, and future tasks. There's something more than just this kind of not living and thinking about it. So the vital is already stressed and kind of leaving, and you have something in the throat. Udana started to be activated. You feel thirsty. Usually people ask for a glass of water when they leave. Why?
But
Because
for me, all of this is the film. This is the movie. We are projecting every time. We are projecting our last moment of our final life or whatever. This is a projection. I experience in my life when I am in the flow in activity. I like the extreme activities with risk. I enjoy that instant because I'm full of life. And in that moment, I live in the body. At the same time, I'm in the joys, full joys, because I'm full life. In full life, I'm living the body. And I think if any one of us experience some extreme situation, the body is living at all. And then you feel you have the power of the manifestation of the next instant present. You are the creator of your own life. I think this is not only to wait up to the last moment of this physical body. I think it's a tantric instruction, like you can be your own divinity.
Divinity, yeah.
You can dilute the delusion, the projection of this individual and fragmented person. I think this is a metaphor to put in practice right now.
Definitely. Think about death, as it is said. Yeah. Constantly come, because this is the moment of truth.
Yeah.
If we think for a second that we will all leave the body, we must do it somehow. It's kind of unthinkable, even though we know about it in the mind. But when you think that, of course, somehow I started to reconcile with this in my life. So I started to think that it's not bad after all to leave all the troubles behind and to start a new kind of cycle and to do something. But even then, it's a real thing. The soul will be departing. It's a real thing, you will have to continue your journey somewhere. So how to do it in the way that it would be favorable for your development and growth?
Do you like drive? Do you like drive car or motorbike? Did you have this experience?
Yeah, I drove a lot. Yeah,
Right. When you are driving the car and you like to drive fast or motorbike, you are the driver. You are the soul, not the car, not the motorbike. You are the soul. You are not the body of like a car. You are not the body like a motorbike. You are the soul who drives.
I
And
think
then
you're identifying this. Yeah, sorry, Go ahead.
you are not projecting. Oh, what's happened if I lose the car when I go into the parking? No, there is no space for to think about to leave the car or the motorbike. You are full driving.
Yeah, but that is not the soul. It is the vital. That's a slight difference. You know, you're talking about the vital driving you, which is fine. I'm also can be in this rage or in this drive, and my mind is kind of surrendering to this vital drive, especially in India when you drive the motorbike. You know, you're going intuitively. It's amazing. You kind of catch everybody's look, you feel everybody's move. They are so intuitive on the road, and you can really, in very difficult, very complex situation, you go through like butter through, like knife through the butter, no problem. And that means kind of higher consciousness and vital feeling. But what we are talking is something a bit more than just vital drive or the mental thought. There is something else. There is a reality moving within. There is that kind of something more real than it looks to the vital or somehow we know. Even people who are very unconscious, like they can fall unconscious for several days. Before they die, they become totally conscious for a second, for a moment. There is a need of the soul to catch up the last moment for something. I do not know why it is so important. There is an occult process of recapturing the whole life, what we lived, because the new plan is to be made, as we learned from Sri Aurobindo and the Mother and Indian literature. And this plan is actually made in that moment of reviewing the soul, the life, like a film. You see all the moments important from your childhood. There was that moment, this moment. You see what you were struggling with. What was your task to struggle with, whether you succeeded or not, and why not. Everything will become clear at the end of the life. And then, on that ground, you will have to make a decision what will happen in the next life. And that decision is crucial for the next embodiment. Somehow, I do not know why it is so, but that is how they describe this process.
But you are always making that decision. This decision is always you are making the decision for the next step, the next word, the next thing, the thinking, the next dream, the next desire. Always.
Well, I didn't say that. No, yes, I mean, I learned about this from the literature. I don't remember me doing it, but it looks like it is totally true in a way. Yes, we have to make, because soul makes the decision, not the mind, not the vital. They will be just there driving and thinking and worrying, and the soul, through all of it, will see the view of what it achieved and why it was here and what it failed with. And on that ground, there will be some, this would be nice to have. And then the soul is ready to go. And then in the psychic plane where it goes, that will make more elaborate plan, because it needs more time, so to say. It will stay there and make a more concrete plan for what it wants, how it wants it. And on that ground, so to say, there will be indication from as we spoke already about this Yami on earth, who would make a kind of blinking light, and the soul will see that there it can go for this kind of plan, or there will be several options. Some will be more bright, others will be less bright, and then the soul plunges there to go, and being born somewhere in some country, some nation. Look at my life. I was born in Soviet Union, my God, with mother and father communists, and where I landed after all of it, in the US. After 27 years in India. It's unbelievable if you think of my life. So my soul decided that it's okay to be born even in a communistic country, because my father was very special. I needed that father for myself. He had to bring that element of truth into me, that love for truth. He was a real researcher and scientist. So I got it from him. I started to like it. It was pleasant. It was beautiful. And that's what I needed, and I decided to go to him. Though it was not favorable conditions, believe me. Soviet Union, Sri was prohibited, everything was closed. No spirituality, no nothing. Just Lenin and communism and justice for working people, for working class.
Before that, if one has a wish or something like, I would like to next life like be born somewhere in these conditions, like would it be that that person is receiving some psychic intimation, or is it just a mind and vital, or can that wish have a bearance on how the future life
Yeah,
next?
absolutely. Oh, that's what you're saying. Yes, and if the king was there, his mother was joking somewhere, because people think if you were born a king and then you will be born a greater king. It's not necessarily so. You can be, as mothers jokes about this, you can be born a shoemaker, next life. Because you saw something in that making shoes, some element which you liked or soul wanted to experience. There was some truth in it, divine truth, because divine truth is everywhere. And we like these bees collecting honey from all the flowers. We need that nectar. We need that experience. We are here coming to collect that soma, that ambrosia.
No, I was saying like before death, like a person is still in his body, in his or her body, and he or she knows that they are going to die soon, like there. So at that time, like can their decision facilitate something, or would it be purely at the psychic realm after the body has passed away?
No, it's in the moment when body leaves, the psychic has a glimpse of the whole life, and then the moment of truth comes from the psychic, not from the mind. Maybe my mind makes some, structure, construct. I want to be. Many people say what they want before death from their mind. Some yogi said that he wanted to be rich in the next life. From India, he was not happy to be poor anymore. So he wanted to have a lot of money. He didn't know what he was asking for. No. But his soul may want something totally different.
I think, therefore, we should raise our consciousness now that we are studying and reading so much. If we keep our consciousness in that level and try to always be with that consciousness, whatever little we can, I think that will help us in the time of death to, go on maybe to, even if we are unconscious at that time, maybe that will take over and make us, come to a better birth.
Yeah. Better is for us, yes, what our svabhava wants to experience. So to say, our inner true nature, what we are looking for. We are looking for some particular experience. And And it's very difficult to say, but in my case, for example, if I will share, when I was a small boy and I saw this, orchestra playing, and in that orchestra there was tuba, and tuba was playing solo. And I thought, this is so beautiful. My whole soul was responding to this solo in the concert. And I think this is something what my soul needed or wanted, and because it was just naturally cognized as true, as beautiful. And many people may find nothing interesting in that tuba playing in the orchestra. Maybe somebody will find something else beautiful, And that is something we want to experience, and and it may reveal itself in my life totally different. I will never play in the orchestra, but there will be that element of calling or invoking or something, which would be a need for my life. And I will be always looking for it in whatever form, wherever I am, in whatever setting, context. So it's much deeper than just the profession or on the surface, whatever we do. Yeah? It's how we do it, what we are looking for to experience. I think, at least now, like this. You can tell me how you think about it. What is your svabhava? What is your swadharma?
Any insight on being born in adverse situations like war-torn countries, like famine or abusive scenarios or drugs or things like that? Any insight on that? Like, because there is a lot now going on, and so any insights?
I think, as I think, the soul may ignore all those, circumstances. Like in my case, I was born in communistic country, nearly a regime, with no suffocation of all the freedom. And at the same time, I found my freedom. So the context outside or in this setting is not necessarily the decisive thing. You find that thing in you, and you can in any context you can realize it. That's what I want to say. Even in concentration camp, as I was giving you the example of this lady who was playing on the piano, cut from the wooden table for her by this in the concentration camp, that she was pianist and she wanted piano. There was no, so she was playing on this numb piano which had no sound, and she was playing concerts, Bach and Beethoven, to those imprisoned people with her, and they swear that they heard the music. And this is something, if you can make the music out of that, this is the realization. This is the real inner svabhava, which comes through whatever the obstacles. And the more the obstacles are there, the stronger the soul, the more powerful the experience. So it's very interesting world. And it's not necessarily that you have all the support and you will become that person. It may be even bad to have everything, all the means. You need some resistance of nature and of circumstances to reveal more and more the qualities. So that's what I was telling today about the war. People didn't know that they had these qualities. They support each other. Yeah, and when I saw it, I was in tears. How beautiful it is. Oh, they bring everything. They feed everyone. They help everyone. They gave their cars, their money, their everything, food. They cook, they feed, all of them working together very energetically, silently, not talking, concentrated, very calm faces. It's really, you just want to be with them, in that moment. This is the moment of truth. It's like death. Death is nearby, and everything is revealed in this light. It's a strange thing about how we live and death, and most probably this moment of truth comes here also in when Arjuna faces this battle and he can't do it, and then he's ready to receive the truth. Right. Okay. Shall we go ahead? Yeah? Oh, if you want to share something, you just switch on and speak, please, because I don't see everyone. I see only a few faces. Can't open all of these. It was meant to be kind of study group. Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati parthanu chintayan. Anuchintayan. So abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanyagamina, with the chetas, with the consciousness focused only with the help of yoga and abhyasa, focused only on me, not on anything else. Paramam Purusham Divyam, to the highest Supreme Purusha, Yati, he goes. Partha, O Partha. Anuchintayan, thinking accordingly. So this is the motive he is talking all the time. To whom you sacrifice, about whom you think, on whom you fix your consciousness, there you go. If you think of higher ideals, you go to that state where higher ideals are realized. If you think about something lower and insecurity, you will go there. And then this.
Hi, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, this is Shivani. Could you
Yes,
just
Shivani.
repeat that last thing you said, that, about what you think you will go there? What was that in reference to? I missed it.
It's constantly the same motive in the Gita, and Sri Krishna says this in many places. It's not only here. That whatever you focus upon, there you go. Yeah? If you fix your consciousness upon the gods or sacrifice to the gods, you will go to the gods. Yeah? If you think of Buddhas, of the spirits, or so you will go to the spirits. If you think about Rakshasas all the time or Paishachas, you will go to them. If you think of Pitris, of your forefathers, you will go to them. If you think of me or sacrifice to me, Sri Krishna says in another place, you come to me. So of whom you think? We think about
Okay.
Mother and Sri Aurobindo, so I hope we will go to them.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Right. And it has to be done during their lifetime. That's what Siegfried was telling. Every moment and what, sarveshu kaleshu, in all the times, ma manusmara, remember me, think of me, yudhyacha, and fight. And live full life. Don't worry, think of me, fix your consciousness upon me. This fixation of consciousness is the general Vedic idea. From here we have dharana, concentration. From here we have dhyana, meditation. Meditation is nothing but focusing consciousness on light. From here we have this tatsavitur, varenyam, yes, the light, bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yonav prachodayat. We fix our consciousness upon the greatest light of Savitar, who will move forward our focused consciousness. So we fix and he will move. He will do with it something. We have to give it to him. We have to surrender our consciousness to him, and he will know what to do with us. Yeah.
So basically, it is about where you place your consciousness majorly.
Yes. Absolutely.
Some people keep it in their material circumstances. They're worried about their children and their wealth, even in the last minute.
Yeah, yeah,
Some people think of their illness, and there's a lot of confusion and fear.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's basically a state of consciousness.
It's all a state of consciousness, and not mechanical and not mental, yeah, and not by repeating and making rituals kind of a habit. It's not a routine. It is something really a need or some kind of a aspiration, which is true, yeah. And we recognize the difference, yeah, between mechanical repetition and the real aspiration. This real aspiration can be without words, yeah. It can be a true need or true kind of opening, and then in that opening everything happens, yeah. Silently, without any even prayer, no prayer even.
Vladimir, what is Pitrilok?
Say it again.
What is Pitrilok?
Pitriloka. Well, Pitri is, yeah, it's a Vedic idea of, not idea, but real world. There is Deva and Pitriyana, yes? There is the path of the gods and the path. By the way, you are asking about this, it will be in this chapter, Devayana and Pitriyana at the end of this chapter. It is dedicated to these two paths, yes, this very chapter. It's interesting. Maybe intuitively you're already kind of pushing in that direction. Usually we have that consciousness which can, you presuppose, you already have that presupposition, what is coming. Yes, Pitri is, what do we say? Like the souls, our psychic beings have something to do with our Pitri Yana. Yeah? They are coming here, they are reincarnating. Yeah? Reincarnating and building up the world, the body, evolving this body to the most receptive state of the spirit. So with each reincarnation, we become more and more receptive of the spirit and more flexible to receive its powers and get more and more ambrosia and soma. So we are building the instruments of knowledge, and this is Pitriyana. The Pitris are interested in prolonging our embodiment in this time and space. So they are all supporting us, because this is the lineage which comes from my parents, from my grandparents, and that lineage, so to say, it is believed that they are in the highest heaven looking at us, supporting us. Why? Because they are interested in our success to build the material embodiment through the genetic code, through our children and grandchildren and so on in the future, the body for their incarnation. They are interested in our success because it's kind of stretched in time, you know. So we have a span of life. So, but my span plus my children, my grandchildren, and so on, leads somewhere where my grandson may become my grandfather. So in that sense, I am investing into the future of my own development. It's weird, yeah? We don't see it because of time span. Yeah.
Vladimir, I always understood Pitriloka as the abode of the ancestors.
Right.
Yeah, and what you just said about that, they support us and we support them. That's very much integral to the Vedic tradition, right, in the whole understanding of marriage and family life. But what I don't understand is, are the Pitris, is that the Pitriloka, is that a heavenly realm or sub-heavenly realm where the psychic being resides preparing for a future life, or is it there? Does something of us remain there even when we are embodied?
Possible. I do not have the answer to this, really.
Okay, thank you.
Truly speaking, I do not know. Because psychic being is the term coined by the mother and Sri
Yes.
Aurobindo. And Antaryamin or Chaitya Purusha or Angushtamatra Purusha is already there in the tradition which they identify as psychic being.
Mhm.
This is the projection of the Jivatma of unborn self, yeah? And it is reincarnating, but we do not know much about it, truly speaking. In Indian tradition, there is not much knowledge of that, how reincarnation is taking place. Buddhists have their own ideas about sanskaras. Others also speak differently, Hinduism also about sanskaras. But truly speaking, nobody can explain where this soul goes and why it returns. And there is no direct connection with Pitris, but I assume that Pitriyana and Devayana are responsible for the soul to travel. It's like left and right hand of the same being, you know. On one side, the soul is developing and growing to become totally evolved, and on the other side, the body is evolving, yeah, to become totally available for the soul. So it's a double process of evolution. So one is Pitriyana or Pitris are taking care of the body development, whereas the Devayana, all the divine forces, or the gods, are helping the soul to evolve, charging her, I say a soul, it maybe, or him or her, with the powers she or he or it needs, yeah, for its own growth and development.
Because Krishna tells Arjuna that those who worship the Pitris go to the Pitris on death. Those who worship me come to me. Those who worship the Devas go to the Devas. Those who worship Krishna go to Krishna.
Right. He makes this, yes.
Yeah, and that's a very important distinction for him. And he strongly implies that the highest has come to me, the Purushottama.
Absolutely. He is the representative of our true being or our soul, yes. And there are many forces in the world which are supporting the soul and incarnation development. Pitris support the development of the bodies, vital, physical, and mental bodies. They are in charge of them. This like nakshatras are, behind nakshatras there are devatas who are kind of investing into our bodies. Yeah? When we are born in particular lagna, we are born under particular nakshatra, particular devata, in particular frame of time, yeah, and in that moment of time, the most activated presence, how our earth turned towards the stars, they are responsible. It is their time, so they invest into it. They bring their forces, and we build a particular body with certain qualities and capacities and diseases, and the look and the hair will be of this kind, and the eyes of that kind, and the smell and the skin and everything. We are actually borrowing from the cosmos, yeah, which is invested by those devatas behind. And on the other hand, this is Pitriyana. Yes? On Devayana, there are godheads who are like in the astrology, these are the grahas and the godheads of the grahas, as it were. In the solar home, we have a solar home, yeah? And we have a bigger cosmos. So in the solar home where the souls are nurtured, it's a kind of nurture, how to put it, the kindergarten for the souls. We are growing here, babies. And the devatas are investing into the soul's development. I'm speaking from the Hinduism point of view, yeah, now.
Yeah, but it's totally consistent with my understanding of Sri Aurobindo and the mother. And Sri Aurobindo says God is all is God, all is in God. And that's totally consistent with the idea that of these different, to me, they sound like different teams. We've got our Pitri team of our biological ancestors and also our future descendants. And we've got our Devayana team of our higher beings supporting us. So we're unknowingly part of a Devayana team too. And whichever devas we're naturally attracted to, if we're sensitive to that.
Right.
Yeah.
And we many times we need them. We need Indra, the intuitive mind. We need, different godheads. And Sri Aurobindo even has these beautiful mantras invoking. I invoke you, Kali, you remember, yes? But he invokes different godheads, and then he says, Kali, please make me free from their influence. Because they are the forces, the universal forces which help our soul to grow. But if we are stuck with them, if we are serving them, these forces, we are not ourselves anymore, so to say. And that should not happen. So this is a strange thing about the soul is Purushottama, so to say, in the individual form, and has to evolve into this Lord of the universe in the multiplicity. So it needs all the forces of the divine and of Pitris. Pitris will be taking charge of these beings, of these instruments of knowledge, embodiment state.
Yeah, so...
You see such a long answer for Pitri Loka.
Well, no, but it's good because these are very much missing in our modern cultures.
And you see in Chinese, for example, they are worshipping Pitris more than anyone else. It seems even sometimes that they don't have the devas. They have only Pitris. And Confucius, if you look, Confucius, it's all about family relations, ancestors, and they are the gods. Ancestors are the gods. It looks like they don't have that relations of psychic to the gods and growing so vivid, so to say.
Yeah, so Krishna and even more Sri Aurobindo and the mother brought the focus back on the very highest. And the mother is particularly emphatic about the divine as all. And that's the total focus of life.
Right.
And everything else, we have to definitely attend to it. No one gave herself more to supporting those who are trapped here in this material, vital world. The mental intellectual world, for which they seem to have the least respect. But they they always focus on the very highest, and everything else is only as how it fits best in supporting the highest.
Right, yes. And all the rest is only forces. Yes, Shivani.
Sorry, I have another question. You were mentioning earlier that whatever we focus on, that's where we go. And then you were saying let us, let us hope we go to like the mother and Sri Aurobindo. And then I heard later that in the Gita, Krishna said that, that he is the greatest. So those who focus on him would go to him. So then shouldn't we be focusing on him, like on the divine?
It's up to you. It's up to you.
So is it different? I guess my question, is it not the same?
Well, it is the same and not the same, yes. How else should I say? Because there is no way to say. Of course, on one side, it is Sri Aurobindo represents the whole work of the avatarhood from the beginning of time. Yeah? He is one in the lineage of this work. This is one divine with through many avatars builds its embodiment. And yeah, so if you reach Krishna, you won't regret. Or if you come to Sri Aurobindo, I believe it would be the same.
Okay, thank you.
I know this is not the answer, just I'm trying to avoid the answer here. But look at this, we are dealing with leaving the body all the time. Again, Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram Anor Aniyansam Anusmarediach Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasaf Parastat Prayana Kale Manasachalena Bhaktya Yukto Yoga Balena Chaiva Bhruvor Madhye Pranam Aveshya Samyak Satam Param Purusham Upaiti Divyam. So he gives us the whole kind of traditional way of explaining what to do in the moment of prayana kale, in the moment of leaving the body again and again. Somehow the whole chapter is about what will happen afterwards, how to really go where you want to go, into the next reincarnation. So there is a translation somewhere. I don't think it's, oh, it is a translation. So sorry. Yeah. This Supreme Self is the seer, the Ancient of Days, Puranam, Anushasitaram, subtler than the subtle, Anoch Aniyansam, and in his eternal self-vision and wisdom, the Master and Ruler, Anushasitaram, of all existences, who sets in their place in his being all things that are. Sarvasya Dhataram, he is the Dhatri, the establisher of all. Achintya Rupam, unthinkable in his form. Aditya Varnam, with the light of the Aditya, or he is refulgent as the sun beyond the darkness, Tamasaf Parastat. So he gives a description of the Supreme Purusha. He who thinketh upon this Purusha in the time of departure, Prayana Kali, with motionless mind, Manasa Achalena, a soul armed with the strength of yoga, yoga balena, yuktach, and with the strength of yoga, yoga balena, yukta, and with union with God in bhakti, bhaktya yuktach. Bhakti is also important, not only thought, the love from the heart, and the life force entirely drawn up, and whose bhruvor madhye pranam aveshya, entering into, and having entered into the middle of this Ajna chakra, with his prana drawn, set between the brows, in the seat of mystic vision, the third eye, he attains to this supreme divine Purusha. Satam param purusham upaiti divyam. So he gives the whole kind of technology, if you will, how to do it. So in thought, in heart, in concentrated effort of prana, focusing it on the third eye and holding it there. So there is a technology, there is a technique. It's not enough to think or to want. The whole body has to help you out in this concentrated effort. I believe it belongs to the ancient yoga, yeah, of how they were suggesting to do it. All right, I will stop here, and if you have something to add or to say, the whole hour was flying like anything. I didn't even notice the time. Incredible. I'm losing the time.
Yes. Dr. Vladimir. So last week was awesome. And,
you attended to these seminars, webinars, yeah?
No. The last Gita.
Oh, Gita, okay.
Yeah, and what I really appreciated was the summary of how you were able to go back and bring so much forward into now. And there were things that I literally were very impactful in my life in the very beginning of our time together. And you've been consistent all the way through in how you fold back through those fundamental teachings, like from the heart or tapasa, for example. You know, those paths, and you're consistent in that. And I really appreciate that. And anytime we get out there again into the future, just for sometimes, bring us back and give us a really comprehensive summary, like you did last time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for such a nice feedback. I know that when we are tuned and we are not very tuned, yes, I can feel it also in myself. It's all we are one receptacle of this kind of knowledge. This is the knowledge comes to all of us. We are looking at it, kind of trying to receive the message, trying to discover the truth of our own consciousness. Yeah. I'm very also grateful for your constant search and participation and inputs, ideas, thoughts. It's really, really wonderful. We built a very good team, community of researchers. Yeah.
It's my only interest in life. Since my first conscious thought that I know was when I was 5 years old, and I haven't wavered from that inquiry. It excites me. It lights me up, and it's what I love more than anything else, as far as my doing, so to speak.
Yeah, nice. It's useful, Bhava. You enjoy discoveries. You enjoy unexpected turns of something you already know, but somehow kind of you have to remember to it. Yeah? Reconnect with your inner truth.
Yeah. Well, thank you for this, and
thank you.
I just want to do it in advance. If you ever do another Gita class, I'm in. I could hear this over again, and it would be like the first time.
Yeah. Well, when we are tuned, yes, in the right moment of time, it is always something to discover. The moment of truth, yes. It's like you're totally blank. You start with no assumption, no presumption. You just start on the empty spot, and then things turn to be in the right positions or right relations. And you just wonder. You remember how Mother always in agenda wonders. This was always so beautiful. Whoever brings some news to her, Satprem many times talks to her. She says, yes, it is so interesting. Oh, wow, this is like this. And I was wondering, how come she is the mother? She knows everything. How come that she is always surprised? She's like a child. Because she discovers something more than just that, what we know on the surface. There is a deeper something which we don't see. There is always something to learn. Because somebody asked for Sri Aurobindo, will there be a time when we will evolve totally, supramental manifestation, that what will happen next? There will be nothing to learn? He says, if there is always something to learn from the infinity. Yeah, so there will be always something to learn. So,
but isn't that how consciousness becomes self-aware? Is that everything is folding back into itself, and it's like a feedback loop. It's not only are we learning, but the entire universe. We are that sensory information into the universe. So it just seems like it keeps going.
Could be that it is exactly the process which brings all our experience, deeper experience, which we maybe not even aware totally of, to the cosmos, which is seeking this experience and interaction with the deeper being here. Purushottama somehow perceives everything, enjoys the very soma, the very delight of existence. Yes, they are looking for that experience, that unique taste of existence, delight. And we generate it in abundance. Great. All right. Thank you. So I will then stop here. So
Vladimir, do you send updates every week for the Gita? I don't know. Like I didn't receive anything. So
I didn't send this time because everybody comes anyhow. So
okay.
I did.
Because I was just confused because I hadn't been receiving some things, and
yes, you
included me
click on the
last week,
same link or put
okay.
it on on your Google Calendar and it will be there.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santo Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. I remembered David Frohle, Hari Om. He's Guru Bhyo Namaha. Have you been to David Frohle today? No? We had, you've been there. He is very nice. So such a nice being, calm, and I like him. Great. See you then. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.